you are and where we are today. Where you are in your life today.
My name is David Coty, C-O-T-Y, formerly David Coty. Changed the name when I came to the States, when I became a citizen in 1960. So I originated in Romania, born on September 3rd, 1928. I had three sisters, one brother that passed away in the service in Romania, and at the age of 13 I went for apprenticeship with a dentist. I learned dental technology. At the age of 15, when the Germans were in Romania, I was taken to the forced labor camp to make like 2 meter cube of stones taken from the water every day for anti-tanks for the Germans. Rough time, very rough. You late 1 minute, one of the soldiers takes you on your back and the other one whips you, that you can't sit for a while. And it was quite an experience. Then it came they were fighting, of course, the Russians, and the Russians were coming in. It was right at the border of Russia where I born, in Piatra-Neamț. It's a beautiful little town, Moldova. And when the Russians came after the Germans, we were freed. So we're running out of the camp with the Germans, actually. Some of the kids, they were hiding into the woods, and I just ran with the Germans, and I came back to my town, which was like about, I don't know, 40, 50 miles away. I came in, and it was rough because the Germans were exploding everything that they can when they were running out of the town. They were bombing the area. They were taking all the bridges off. My sisters were in the woods, hidden. People were hiding all over, and then the Russians, of course, came in. The Germans were gone. And then we had the problems with the Russians. Of course, the Russians, the first troops, of course, was the most horrible experience for any woman in town or any one of us, really. There was quite an experience. But survived that too, and then I left Piatra-Neamț, which was in Moldova, and I left to Bucharest, which I had one of my sisters there, and then my mother went there, and I stayed there in Bucharest for a while. I worked there, and we were meeting every night at next to a university place. It was very common for young people to meet, and we were talking about how can we possibly run out of Romania, because there's no way to get out. The borders were closed all over the place, and every day we were hearing some other guy left, and so I made the decision to leave Bucharest, to go to the border of Romania, which is Oradea Mare. I had with me just some American cigarettes. That was the whole wealth that I had, and I had a couple of underwear, a couple of, not much really. I came into Oradea Mare, I took the train. As a matter of fact, before that, I left for another city where I should have said goodbye to some people. My mother was in a different city, and at the train station, people saw me that they had a feeling that I'm running, and they said, "Don't you do that? They're killing every day at the border." But I didn't hear it. I didn't want to listen to it. I really had the nerve at the time to really just keep going. And I did. I went to Oradea Mare, and there were fearers, there were leaders that they would take you over the borders. And I thought I'll sell the cigarettes and I'll have some money to pay the fearers. to take me over to Hungary to start with. And I went to some people that were, of course, selling black market cigarettes, and I told him I have some cigarettes to sell. And he says, well, I don't know. And then a few minutes later, the police came and tapped me on my shoulder, come with me. So they took me to the station with the cigarettes, and they asked me, what are you doing here? Because they knew that probably it's the border, because of anybody that comes from Bucharest over there, it's to run out of Romania. And I just had the thought of saying a good lie, and I said, you know, I have a little brother that ran out of the home, and he really wants to go over the border. I want to catch him before he gets out of the border. He's too young and all that. So the police chief, I'll never forget, a big, heavy-set man, he says, well, you got to leave all your identifications here. The cigarettes stay here with us. You can't do anything with that. And look for your son and for your brother, and then come back and take the identification. I'm giving you 24 hours. So of course, I didn't have no brother around there or anything, so I went back to the hotel that I stayed that one night. And I told the guy at the board, I said, I'm completely broke, I don't have anything, and I do want to go over the border. I told him the story. So I said, is there anything or anybody? He says, well, there is a guy here that he has relatives at the border and everything. I know he would probably go with you if you can take care of him eventually. And I said, sure. So he brought me this guy that spoke both languages, spoke Hungarian and spoke Romanian, and he took me to another town, which was right at the border, where he had some relatives. And the relatives explained exactly how we can go over the border. And they explained that if you hear the dogs, then you know that the gendarmes are right there. And just sit still. So we did. And it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. And we covered up. We didn't move any place, but we did exactly what they told us to do. And when we looked up, of course, early in the morning, the gendarmes had that place where they were probably sleeping at that time, and we started going. And he taught me to say something in Hungarian, so if we meet the farmer, so they don't think that we're from somewhere else. So we did make it through, and we got into Debrecen, which is in Hungary. I got into one of the trains over there, and I had a beautiful coat left for my brother who passed away in the service. It was winter. It was kind of cold. It wasn't winter. But in any case, somebody came up and made me an offer for the coat, and there was, at the time, the money wasn't worth anything, so he gave me a real big bundle of money, and there was really like one bottle of wine for that, maybe. That would do it. But in any case, we got in from Debrecen, we got into Budapest, and found out that there's a camp there. And being that I was Jewish, there was a camp that would take people in, and especially because with the concentration camps and everything else, they had camps for people that they survived. So I went to Budapest to one of the hospitals over there, which was the place to stay, with my friend, of course. And he decided that he's not going to stay. He's going back. He doesn't, no big deal. So I gave him everything that I had, anything I had, any money, anything. I gave him everything I had so that he makes it easier for himself. And he left. And I stayed there in Budapest for a few days. And then it was also underground, going over from Hungary to to Austria, and we had to go through the Black Forest. And there were groups that, and again, fears that will take us to Austria. So we arrived, we did go through, and we arrived in Austria, and again, they placed us in schools and hospitals. And it was like the school that we were in. I made some friends during that period. I made a few friends from Romania. There was one of them a former actor, one of them a jeweler, one of them a dancer. There were about 5 or 6 of us. So we were together in that fantastic rooms where there were like a few hundreds of people in one big room like this, a few hundred people. So in the morning they were hiding the women so they can change and whatever. So we thought, gee, we're not going to stay here, because the only alternative for us was to sign up for going to some country, but we had to wait in line, and that line takes a long time to get it. So we found out that there are some people that signed up for the Foreign Legion. And we were in an American zone in Austria and Vienna, and the French zone was in another part of Vienna, and we decided to sign up. And the signing up to the Legion was like about 5 years signature. And we said, the hell with that, because we found out that people that sign up, they get to Paris, and then they get off the train, and community people will save them with new papers and everything, so they get out of the Legion. Well, in our case was that the French got smart, and they found out that that there are too many coming from Vienna, and they get off the train. So when we came in, of course, the soldiers was right there at the doors of the trains, and we couldn't get off. And they took us to Strasbourg, which is the camp before you go into Algiers. And at that time, Algiers was a disaster. We never thought it would happen to us, because we heard so many people, you know, they cut their throats over there. The Algerians hate the Legion. And so we stayed there in camp, of course, for a few days. And though we did have a medical visit in Vienna, they had another medical over here. And by the way, you know, in the Legion, anybody can sign up. You can kill somebody right here, and you go into, once you're in the Legion, you forgive them for everything. And there were assessed people there that I was, you know, with the signs, with the numbers, and it was terrible. There was a terrible experience there. But then when the medical came up, they checked us out a little different, not anymore, because they already checked us pretty good in Vienna, but they came up with a translator that translated Romanian, and the doctor stand behind me and said, I don't know what he was talking about. I heard him pretty good. But I made a decision at that minute, I don't know how. When the guy asked me in Romanian, do you hear what he's saying? Repeat what he's saying. And I said, he's saying what? I don't understand. I don't. So he thought that, of course, I don't hear. And the doctor got upset, and he called it inapt. And they had so many lines of people waiting, so they didn't care. But the unfortunate thing was that once you sign up for the Legion, and if you're not good for the Legion, you're good for the mines in France. So they... Sure. Ready? So where was I? I was in the camp, of course, and they sent us to Strasbourg. And I got out, the medical, I got out as inapt, and of course the contract, there's a repeat here, you know, because I said it before, so I'm repeating something. I'm sure you can check that. And the contract with the French government is if you sign up for the Legion, and if you can't make the Legion, if something happens, then you have to do the mines, which they have, and they pay real well. And if you succeed 5 years over there, you make a fortune, and then you come back, and the government will help you to open up a store or to do anything. You got money in the bank. It's fantastic stuff, but geez. Go to the mines. But in any case, they were supposed to, you know, we were supposed to wait until they sent us back to Austria, which they did. They sent us back to Sigmaringen in the French zone again. And when we got there, of course, I didn't speak French, and I didn't speak any languages really. Romanian was my forte at the time, and a little Jewish maybe that I knew, and that helped me a little bit with German. So when I came there, in Sigmaringen, they questioned something, and I see people raising their hands. You know, you want to go there, you want to go there, and I hear somebody saying, "Hof America." I had my hand up right away, you know. And the truth was, the Hof America was just a farm where you have to work at that farm until you're ready for the mines, until they pick you up for the mines, to go to the mines. So I worked there at the farms, and I met there a Romanian guy that was half Romanian, half German. They call him the Sash, and I talked to him. And you know, when I got into the Legion, when I got in Strasbourg, I didn't have anything else, but because they give you different clothes, and then they give you other clothes when you leave. But I did have an identification from Vienna that they call it the Joint, which was the Jewish the groups that help the people. So I had that identification hidden. So I told him, because I was afraid to tell him I'm Jewish, because there were so many SS people there. You know. I really was scared hell. And so I came up to him and I said, matter of fact, I didn't have the shoes. I had some of those wooden shoes that they gave me. And I said, is there any Jewish people around here that maybe I can, because I got an identification. They might give me some clothes, and I'll bring you some clothes. He says, not here in Sigmaringen, but in Salgau, which was not too far away. He had to take the train to it. So how do I get there? He says, well, you got to get a pass from the chief from the camp. So I said, well, you're going to translate for me. We're going to go there and ask him. Maybe I can get some help.